In this video, we're going to look at three things. We're going to look at surds, scientific notation, and indices. So what is a surd? A surd is a square root. The square root of 9 is equal to 3, so it simplifies to be a whole number. But what about if you type into your calculator the square root of 8? The calculator gives you 2 root 2. This is a surd because there's a square root in the answer. This is written in the form a root 2. So in your question in your Christmas exam, it said write in the form a root 2. Now why is the square root of 8 2 root 2? Because the rule for surds is any two numbers that multiply to give 8 will give the same answer if we put them as a product. So 4 times 2 is 8, and the square root of 4 works out to be 2, and that's why it becomes 2 root 2. So your calculator will do all this for you. Now there's a pattern for these. 3 root 2 is root 18. Root 18 is root 9 by root 2. This is 3 root 2. Your calculator will do it for you. The jump from 18 to 8 to 18 is 10. The square root of 32 is 4 root 2. And there is a pattern that emerges here with these surds. The jump from 18 to 32 is 14. So does it jump another 4, which will be 18? And it does. The square root of 50, 32 and 18 is 50. The square root of 50 is 5 root 2. And I'll just introduce a few more here. The square root of the jump is going to be 22. Looking at our pattern here, going up in 4s. The square root of 72 is the square root of 36 by the square root of 2, which is 6 root 2. Jump of 26 will be 98. The square root of 98 is the square root of 49 by the square root of 2, which is 7 root 2. And I'll just do one more. If we jump 30 from 98, we get 128. And the square root of 128 is 8 root 2. The question on your Christmas test said simplify a couple of surds and write it in a particular format. So what if we do the square root of 128 plus the square root of 98 and then take away the square root of 50? What would this give us? Well, just type it into your calculator. You'll get 8 root 2. The square root of 98 will give you 7 root 2. So 8 and 7 is 15. So we have 15 root 2s. And the square root of 50 is 5 root 2. So 15 root 2s, take away 5 root 2s, is 10 root 2s. And this is in the format a root 2. So there's kind of a clue in the question when they ask you to write it in a particular format. It should give you some sort of memory of when you've studied this topic. So this is pretty much surds in a nutshell. Root 3 has a pattern too. Maybe jot down 2 root 3. You'll have a look at the pattern here. 2 root 3 will be the same as root 12. 3 root 3 will be the same as root 27. That's a jump of 15. 4 root 3 is root 48. Is there a pattern here? Let's have a look. 12 to 27. You don't need to know this for juniors here, but it's just having fun with maths. That's a jump of 21, so it looks like it's jumping 6 each time. So let's add 6 onto 21 and see does it work. 27 and 48 is 75. The square root of 75 is in fact 5 root 3s, and 6 root 3s is the square root of 36 by the square root of 3, which is the square root of 108. That's a jump of 33 from 75. You can see here they are jumping 6 each time. So surds, calculator use, and just simplifying them should be easy enough if you've practiced them a few times. The second thing is scientific notation. So every time you get scientific notation, it's really about making big numbers into smaller numbers that are more manageable to work with. So let's just use these two numbers here. You're always asked to write it in the form a by 10 to the power of n. That's never going to change. They also tell you that a has to be between two numbers, and it has to be greater than 1 and less than 10. So it's really just about counting decimal places. So in the first one here, I have to move the decimal to here to make it into the number 8. So this one's going to be 8 by 10 to the power of something. How many places did we move the decimals? Well, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 10 to the power of 5, and when we go to the right, it's minus 5. Similarly with this one, we're going to go to the left. We're going to move it in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this one is 8 by 10 to the power of 5. And if you type that directly into your calculator, you can check your answer. Similarly with this one, if you type this into your calculator, you'll also be able to check your answer. So scientific notation, that's the only two things that come up. If you don't practice them, you're absolutely throwing away vital marks. Indices is the next question that was on your Christmas test in this section. Something along the lines of 2 to the power of m by 2 to the power of 7 divided by 2 to the power of 3. This is similar to the one in your test. It's equal to 2 to the power of 20. So the rules, when we multiply, we add. So we can actually get rid of the 2's. So m plus 7. And if we bring a power up, it changes sign. Minus 3 will be equal to 20. So that's how to create an equation. You maybe ask for an equation in m. So that's going to be m plus 7 minus 3 plus 4 is equal to 20. So m is equal to 16. Let's put that in and see, does it work? 2 to the power of m, which is 16, by 2 to the power of 7 over 2 to the power of 3. You don't have to do this, but we're just checking our answer. That's going to on top give 2 to the power of 16 plus 7, which is 23. And on the bottom, 2 to the power of 3. And you can see that 23 minus 3 will be the 20 that we had in the question. The other version of this question could be the unknown on the bottom. So what if we have 2 to the power of 6 by 2 to the power of 7 over 2 to the power of, and they just give it any letter. Sometimes they use the letter P. If that's equal to 2 to the power of 20, this one does trick people because we end up with a minus answer. So the rule is we're going to add the powers on top. So 6 plus 7. If we bring P up, it has to change sign. Minus P will be equal to 20. So 13 minus P is equal to 20. So bringing P to the right to make it positive, on the left we'll get 13 minus 20. So P in this case will be minus 7. Does that work? Let's have a look. 2 to the power of 6 by 2 to the power of 7 is 2 to the power of 13. And if that's over 2 to the power of minus 7 and we bring 7 up, it becomes positive. So this is equal to 2 to the power of 13 plus 7, which in fact is 2 to the power of 20. So the rules of surds, the rules of scientific notation, and the rules of indices, vital knowledge for junior cert.